Okay, so now kita will explain about communication. But communication ni focus more in term of communication in organisation. Okay, alright. So communication ni, okay, when you say communication, it must be transfer, okay, transfer the message and understanding the meaning of the message. Okay, when we say communication, then nak transfer, we want to transfer the message and the reader should understand the message tu. Okay, right? Not only transfer. Kalau transfer je one side je, so that's not communication. So mesti ada reader and you must understand the meaning of that message. Okay, right? When we said a perfect communication tu, nak dapat it's quite difficult to get a perfect communication, okay? But when we said communication tu means that the receiver tu, okay, the receiver understand the message perfectly or same as what the sender want to deliver the message. Okay, that is a perfect communication. And the receiver tu dia faham apa yang the sender want to explain tu, they fully understand. They get the same picture. Okay, right? So that is a perfect communication. But it's really difficult. Okay, sometimes you have to explain and re-explain. Okay, the meaning of the message. Okay, alright. Okay, so that's basically about the communication. So at the end of this chapter, okay, at least you understand these 7 things. Okay, alright. Function, what the function of the process of communication. Okay, so what is the downward, upward, and lateral communication? Okay, through some work, semua tu. Okay, so kita tengok what is upward, downward, upward, and lateral communication. Okay. Kemudian contrast the oral, written and non-verbal communication to the other types, oral, written and non-verbal communication. Okay, so the channel, how you would like to choose the channel, okay, depends on the richness of that channel. Okay. Alright, so ada in the communication ni, dia punya the receiver tu dia ada automatic and control punya processing, okay, based on the receiver. Sometimes they automatically process the message and sometimes they control processing the message. Okay, so the sender tu should understand this lah, should differentiate between these two. Right, so then last what is the barriers, okay, to effective communication. And the cross-cultural communication. Okay, kalau different culture tu, okay, what is the problem? Okay, alright. So basically communication ni in organization, okay, there are 5 major function. Okay, so first to manage, okay, to manage the employees, and then to give the feedback, and then sometimes for emotional sharing, okay, and the persuasion and also information. Information change, okay, right? Okay, so manage, okay, they act communication ni as act to manage a member behavior, okay. Kalau this is the common lah, okay, communication to manage the employees' behavior, okay. And then the manager, okay, they have some guidelines to their employees how to act, how to do their job, okay, job description, what the company policy, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, okay, right? And then kalau ada harassing ke semua tu, okay, jadi they have this is type of communication to manage, okay, right? So job policy, job description, the company policy, job description tu, bila you masuk kerja, that is the communication to manage lah, kan? Even though when you enter the university, you have some guideline, rules, okay, so that is to manage your behavior. When you in that organization, then you have to follow that punya guidelines or apa that policy. Okay, alright. That is to manage. Okay, right. So next is communication for feedback. Okay. Right, so communication to feedback to clarify the employees, okay, what they must do, how well they are doing it, okay, and how they can improve their performance. Okay, after you manage, after you give the job description to the employees, And then maybe after they done complete the job and we give the feedback, okay, how well they are doing about that job, okay, right? So feedback ni means that you kena ada goals lah. The company must have some goals to the employees, and then they can give the feedback on the progress to achieve that goal. So, okay, and also that they should rewards, okay, some behavior, the behavior, desired behavior, okay, then bila capai dia punya goals. So, okay, so feedbacks ni it relates dengan theory of motivation. Okay, so ada previously tu kita discuss sikit. Okay, so feedback ni is can stimulate the motivation. When we give the feedback, then it's types of communication, okay, and also can stimulate the motivation. Okay, so feedback, right? So at least employees know how they're doing currently. Okay, right? So that the function, the second function. Okay, so the next function is more emotional sharing. Okay, right? So emotional sharing ni basically communication in the group. Okay, when you in the group or either informal or informal. Okay, so usually you will communicate with other members to show whether you satisfied ke with your job ke, or you frustrated ke with that job. Okay, alright. So that is for emotional sharing. Okay. To show whether you satisfied or you frustrated with your job. Okay. So that is the communication for emotional sharing. Okay. Right. So the emotional sharing is quite important in organization. Yeah. Okay. So because it's kind of to fulfill the social needs. Okay. So to express what the feeling of the employees. Okay. Right. So usually emotional sharing ni is informal. Okay. So like emotional sharing, okay, the persuasion, okay, so that function is persuasion, okay, persuade, okay, right? So persuasion it can be in the good side or the bad side, okay, right? So let's say, okay, the example, okay, so leader is trying to persuade a work group to believe in the organization's commitment to corporate social responsibility. So this is a good side punya persuasion, okay? Just persuade to believe in the CSR, okay? Because CSR ni sometimes is not in the job description, okay? So it's an extra. So that's why a leader should persuade the groups to give the commitment to the CSR. Okay, alright. Or okay, the leaders persuade the work group to break the law to meet an organizational goal. So it's still persuade. Okay, it's still a function of communication to persuade the work group, but to break the law to meet an organizational goal. Still to achieve that goal, but they don't follow that what policy or law in the organization. Okay, so this is a bad side of the persuasion. Okay, right? So it should when it is that persuasion, is either can give benefit to organization or it can harm the organization. Okay. Okay, so the last one, okay, the final function, okay, is the information exchange. Okay. Usually is this punya function to facilitate decision making, okay, to share the information. Right, so what they share information, what the either individuals or groups needs to make a decision. Okay, right. So sharing the information to to make a decision. Okay. Okay, so when we said dia ada 5 function kan, okay. So mostly in every organization okay, this ni dia takes more one or more, I think more than one function, this function of communication, okay, right? So maybe sometimes they have 2, 3, or 4, okay, more than one function, okay, in each organization, okay, and we cannot say that uh, which one is more important, okay, so they are important is the same level, okay, none of this function is more important than others, right? Okay, okay, so because they have, okay, so like example they have to give some feedback to maintain to maintain the performance, okay, they should give feedback to the members, okay, and then allow the members to express the emotional expression, okay, and then to monitor the behavior, right, and then encourage the information exchange, okay. So these 4 function, they use 4 function in this process, organization, okay, right. So none of the function is more important than the others, okay, so they're same level, okay, right. So okay, so in can see here, okay, this diagram, okay, so explain the communication process, okay, all right. So this is the process of communication, okay. So you see here we have a sender side and we have a receiver side, okay. So the sender, okay, the sender, they initiate the message, okay, uh, okay, they encode the message, okay. So the sender, okay, they will they encode the message to send to the receiver, okay. So encoding the process is that, okay. So message itself is the physical product of the sender encoding, okay. The process encoding a message, so message is the product of the encoding, okay. Right, so when we speak, okay, example, when we speak, okay, the speech too is the message, okay, so that is the physical message, so that is encoding, okay. When we write, okay, when we do some writing, so the writing is the message, okay. Right, when we gesture, do some gesture, move a hand, okay, or expression of the face, okay, is the message, okay. So that how we encode the message, how we want to deliver that message, okay. It's either by speech or by writing or by our expression or gesture, okay. Alright, so the channel here, the channel is the medium to which the message travel, okay. How you want to deliver your message to the receiver, okay. So what channel that you want to use, right? Okay, so you can use either formal or informal channel. Okay, so formal channel more means that established. The formal one is established in the organization. Okay, right? Informal tu means that usually is spontaneous lah. Okay, so formal tu like through a message, through email, through the meeting ke, when you meeting ke, you write a report ke, you give a letter ke, memo ke, so that's a formal channel. Okay, but usually formal when we say formal, they must establish lah in the organization. Okay, they have some, right? So informal, okay, is very spontaneous. Okay. Or maybe through this social media, so it's informal. Okay, it depends lah. Social media sometimes maybe can formal or informal. Okay, so informal ni sometimes they spontaneous. Okay, you want to deliver the message. Okay, so it depends on the subject that you want to deliver the message. Okay, so the receiver, despite the receiver, they receive the message. Okay, when they receive the message, they will translate the message to into understandable form. Okay, so this process we call it as a decoding the message. Okay, alright. So to understand okay, this is the the step ni they direct out. Okay, nak see actually one by one. Okay, when I'm talking, then you receive the message. So the process when you receive tu you decoding lah. When I deliver, I'm encoding the message. Okay, right. Okay, so during the process to transfer a message from the sender to the receiver ni, there is a noise. Okay, for noise tu. It's a barriers. Okay, so the barriers to distort the clarity of the message. Okay, any type of barriers. Okay, sometimes the barriers tu maybe from the receiver side. Okay, dia punya perceptual. Okay, the perception tu also can be a noise. Okay, information load. Okay, overload information load. Information overload. Too much information. So the receiver cannot process anymore the message. So that's the noise also. Okay. And also maybe if when others lah, kalau you go video conference or the problem with the internet access, so that's the noise. Okay. Alright, so the feedback. Okay, so the feedback from the receiver to the sender is to check. Okay, they check how successful with transfer our message. Okay, as original as intended. Okay. Right, so whether we are to feedback ni important to see whether our receiver understand the message or not. Okay, so this is the usually the process of communication. Okay, sender encoding the message and then using the channel to deliver to the receiver, and receiver to transform it to understandable form. Okay, the process lah dalam to understand lah. Okay, the proses you memahami tu. That is a decoding message. Okay, so there's a noise and you should give a feedback to make sure when you the message that delivered to is understandable, right? Okay, so direction of communication. Okay, so direction we have a downward, upward, and lateral communication. Okay, right? It's either through the small group work, group network, or informal grapevine. Okay, right. Okay, so downward communication. Okay, so downward communication ni is a flow from one level to a lower level. Okay, so downward. Okay, so from the manager to the employees. Okay, so managers. Okay, downward ni usually managers, group leaders or managers ni they use goals. They assign goals. Okay, provide instruction. Okay, give a policy, provide the feedback. So from the managers through the employees. Okay, right. So from above level to the lower level. Okay, so that is the downward communication. Okay, so and when in downward communication, okay, so managers supposed to or must explain the reason why that this decision was made. Okay, why certain decision was made. Supposedly they must explain why. Okay, right? But usually, okay, that is necessary. But normally, okay, managers doesn't explain pun. Okay, they don't feel that they need to explain. Maybe because they are too busy, or when they explain more details and we raise too many questions, and then they don't want to the employees to question them, to question their decision. Okay, so maybe that's the reason why they don't explain. Okay, but in the suppose when you make a decision and you have to explain to the employee to the employees. Okay, right? So because the explanation usually can increase employee punya commitment. Okay, when they know why they have to do this, okay, why that decision has to be made, then maybe more it will increase their commitment to their job or to the organization. Okay, right? So usually kalau kita downward communication ni, okay, it's usually one way. Okay, downward ni mainly one way je, from the manager to the employees. Okay, so this is mainly lah. Okay, downward ni from the employee to, so because manager rarely to ask employees about their opinions. Okay, ask employees their advice how when they want to make a decision. Okay, but some organization go through that. Okay, yang buka ni nak tanya ke apa? Tak eh? Okay, so then upward communication, okay, upward tu flows to higher level, okay, from lower to higher level, okay. Usually the upward communication ni, okay, employees provide mana feedback, okay, they inform how they give a feedback to dia punya supervisor or manager, okay. Maybe how they feel, or they inform the progress, they report the progress, report what is the current problem. So that is the upward communication, okay. Alright, so that more formal lah. Kalau informal pun boleh lah, okay. So give what they feel about their job, okay. Right, so and managers also, okay, managers rely on the outward communication ni to get the idea how to improve, okay, the condition, okay, right. So basically how to improve the how to improve their job ke. So managers ni rely more on outward communication lah sometimes, okay. They ask the employee how to improve the certain condition, okay. Right, so but when the managers ask how to improve, so the subordinates or the employees should give the honest punya feedback lah, okay, honest and authentic the feedback, okay. Right, so kalau kita bagi give some feedback tu macam negative feedback ke whatsoever ke, so they maybe they said because this is dia punya self interest lah, okay, so we must give an honest and authentic about the job punya feedback, okay, when the manager asks about how to improve the situation, okay. Right, so in okay, when we want to engage in the effective outward communication ni, okay, when the employees want to engage in outward punya communication effectively, okay, so they should communicate, okay, in short summaries, okay, rather than the long punya explanation, okay. So just give headlines, okay, not in a paragraph, okay. Right, right, so support the summaries tu with the actionable item, okay, means that with the figures, fact and figures, okay, how you can do this exactly, okay. And and prepare the agenda, okay, so that your boss will give the attention well, okay. So prepare the agenda, what you want to say first, next, second, okay, when you want to talk about with the manager, okay. Okay, and also that we have to be careful what we want to say, okay, especially when the things that we want to communicate with the manager is that some things that we know that managers will unwelcome to that message, okay. So we be very careful what we want to say, okay, right. Okay, so that is upward, and then the lateral, okay, lateral communication ni, okay, so the communication among the members of the same work group, okay, same level, among the managers the same level, okay, so like that is lateral, okay. So biasanya is a horizontal lah, okay. So yang tadi tu vertical, okay, outward and downward is a vertical, so this is horizontal punya communication, okay. Alright, so same level, same manager, same level, okay. Right, so dia maybe informal or maybe formal punya communication, okay, because the same level, okay. Sometimes memang organisation tu dia memang form lateral punya relationship or lateral punya communication, okay, to discuss some action ke, okay, so they discuss among them at the same level, okay. You want to see the managers punya viewpoint, okay, so for certain problem. Okay, so but lateral communication ni you can see either is a good or bad lah, okay, because they have some the same level, okay, so it's sometimes maybe it can ada conflict kat situ, okay, right. So jadi bila ada conflict tu, when we have a conflict among the lateral communication tu, so it's quite they can become dysfunctional, okay, because they are function, manager have their own function. When they have a conflict, so then they will dysfunction, okay. Conflict among them, among the managerial level, okay. So it's formal. So they maybe it's better in the organization. Lateral communication is formally sanctioned, okay, alright, so in a formal form, okay. So you need to discuss betul, right? So to avoid dia punya conflict semua ni, right? Okay, and also that communication, okay, in a small group networks, okay, right? So small, ada 3 types, okay. This is just to explain, okay. The communication is in a group, okay, right? Especially because when we have hundreds of people, okay, and we have a hierarchy level, okay. So the maybe quite complicated. So in this diagram ni, they explain. They just try to break to in the group of 5 members. Dia nak explain je lah ni, okay? Just to explain, okay? These 3 types of communication in the group, okay? Small group networks, right? Okay, so you can see here chain, okay? So chain ni rigidly follows the formal chain of command, okay? So dia rigid, okay? So dia this one only can communicate with this one, so you have to pass the information, okay. So this person cannot communicate with this one, okay. You should communicate with the person that assigned to you je, okay. So this is chain, okay. So it's quite rigid, okay. So the wheels ni, okay, wheels ni they rely to the central figures, okay. So they rely to this one to pass the message, okay. Okay, so these central figures ni dia acts as the conduit to all group communication, okay. So they as a central lah, okay. So they will pass the information to others, okay. So this one they only communicate with one, okay. But this one you have to communicate with the central punya ni person, okay. So all channel, so this is all channel, you can communicate with each other, okay. So this is we call as active communication, okay. So you can you can communicate with any person in the organization or in a group, okay, right. So sometimes this channel ni kan teams macam ni, so this type of teams ni you can see in self-managed teams, okay. So self-managed team ni biasa they have all channel punya communication type, okay. So each member are free to contribute to others, okay. So and there's no leadership role, okay, in this type of communication, okay. Tak ada leader, okay. So we can talk to each other, right. Okay, so now you can see many organization are moved to consider to this type of channel, okay, in communication, right. So they will allow anyone to communicate with others, right. Okay, so this is the effectiveness of each network, okay. Kita tengok each network tu ada chain, network and all channel tadi tu lah, in small group tu, okay. So you can see that dalam chain ni, untuk chain punya ni, accuracy, okay, the accuracy is the most important, okay. Kalau chain, maknanya when the message you need to the accuracy, so you can use chain is better, okay, right. So wheels, okay. The wheels ni the best when you have a leader, okay. We need leader, okay. Okay, so they facilitate leaders when you want to facilitate the emergence of leader and also need the accuracy of the message too. Maybe wheel types of communication is better, okay, in the group, right? But in all channel ni, okay. So members is, if we focus on more member satisfaction, then all channel the communication is better, okay. Right. So this is the effectiveness of each network, right? Okay, so the grapevine, okay, this grapevine is informal, okay, informal communication, right? So grapevine. Ataupun sometimes we refer grapevine ni nama grapevine lah, rumors ke, gossips ke kan. Okay, so it's informal. Okay, informal communication. But still informal pula. But still grapevine ni or informal ni is quite important juga. Okay, important to the managers. Okay, and also that grapevine ni is important to the job applicants. Okay, so job when someone apa we want to apply to certain organization, you are, kalau new candidate ni, you new fresh grad ni, mungkin grade 1 ni not important, but if the manager level kan, when you want to apply that job in that certain company, you should listen to some dia punya gossip or rumors ke, what happened to an organization. Okay, is it really depends on the power ke apa ke, so it's kind of information so necessary, but not in the lower level. Okay, most in the higher level punya job applicants. Okay, right, so is that one ni the words words of mouth information lah. Okay, so word of mouth. Okay, alright, so then so grade 1 ni also quite important because they can serve their employees needs. Okay, so small talks ni dia ada sense of closeness relationship to others employees. Okay, when they share the information, they talk to each other, so they maybe they feel better. Okay, so the grade 1 also quite important. Okay, and also it can help, grade 1 ni can give the managers to understand or to feel the morale of the organization. Okay, right, so based on that rumors or gossip, so they can understand what that is the morale of the organization. Okay, and also they can identify the quite important issues, okay, for the employees. Okay, right, so because the important issues for the employees, sometimes they don't deliver it through the formal punya communication, they discuss among them. Okay, so what is important for them, so to improve, maybe grade 1 also quite important, right? Okay, so that is the grade 1. Okay, so and then okay, so because the grade 1 is a gossip and rumors. Okay, so gossip rumors, even you have to, even though it's a good things, okay, in the organization. Okay, so but managers ni they kena control, they have to control juga. Okay, they have to know how to dealing with the gossip and rumors. So they have to control in the how the message ni and all this message through the gossip and rumors to go into the flowing into the organization. Okay, so what they can do is that so they have to reduce gossip and rumors ni. So managers should share the information. Okay, share more information. Okay, right. So if you share more information with your employees, okay, through the good formal communication, so the needs for informal communication tu jadi less. Okay, so when the employees know everything what happened in the organization, then they don't need to do some gossip or rumors. Okay, so share information. Okay, try to explain. You should explain more about what decision, what decision are made, and why is it you have to make. Okay, and what you are planning to going forward. Okay, right. So you have to explain to the employee. So when they know everything, okay, they know why is it that decision made, and so they don't have to make a gossip or rumors. Okay. And then respond to rumors, but it's a non-committal. It's not means that you're not necessarily not committed to answer respond, but try to respond if there is a rumors, and try to respond. Okay, and verify why is it that. Okay, make sure that they know that the other side of the story. Okay. Alright, so and then invite the employees to discuss their ideas, what is their concern. Okay, when you heard some rumors, so or before rumors, so invite the employees to share what their concerns too. Okay, right. So and then what about the feelings, and then we inform what is organization matters semua tu, and maybe then we can see through their viewpoints. Okay. right? So this is how to reduce to make sure the flowing of gossip or rumors is not dia tak harm organization lah, okay? It's important but tak adalah macam misalkan, okay, it's not kita nak is harm dia punya communication lah, okay? Right, so modes of communication, okay, so we have oral, written and apa tu, non-verbal, okay? Oral, okay, means that used through the speech, okay, to convey the message through the speech. Ada group discussion, okay, formal one-to-one, okay, so that is oral. We're using ni oral, okay. Grade 1 tadi tu informal rumors also usually through the oral lah, okay. So oral punya communication, okay. Alright, so the advantage ni, okay, advantage of oral communication, when we deliver the message, okay, when we deliver the verbal message, okay, we can get the response immediately, okay, whether our sender understand or not the message, okay. Right, so we can okay. Usually people the experts say that face-to-face communication, okay, so face-to-face communication is still the best way to give the information to employees and get the information from them, okay, to get the feedback, okay, so face-to-face or oral communication. Okay, but the disadvantage of oral communication ni, okay, dia punya disadvantage tu, if you have to pass the message, okay, you have to pass to the several number of people, okay, right? So kalau you will have to pass to more people, so the greater the potential distortion. Okay, remember that the games that we call as a telephone, okay, the telephone game tu, okay, you have to pass the information and the message to your friends and you pass along the line tu, okay. So then can see that there is a problem because when we pass the message to people tends to interpret the message to in his or her own way, okay. Alright, so okay, so oral communication usually in the meetings, okay. So meetings is either formal or informal, okay, more than one, more than two per people, okay, or more, right? So that is the oral communication. Number video conferencing or video conference, okay. So video conference ni, ni lah video conference kan. Employees and clients can conduct a real-time meetings at the different location, okay. You can have a live audio and video image, okay. Kalau conference calling, okay, conference calling conference calling tu dia call je, handphone je, phone je, okay. So usually it's dia limited lah, okay, they limited to the telephone exchange and people have to gather around that one speaker to and to listen to it, okay. And we have to make sure that we have a secure line, right. So to conference calling, okay, tak ada video, means that conference calling, okay. And then dia punya ni yang ni lah kita traditional way is telephone, okay. So telephone ni because it's like so normal, so sometimes we overlook about the efficiency of the telephone in the mode of communication, okay? Right, so telephone ni dia usually kalau you cannot face to face, so telephone maybe is a fast, okay, and effective, but usually for more to one, okay, right. Okay, so but the telephone ni, bila kita telephone, we make a decision or we make a communication in the business, communication through the telephone. Usually we have to follow up with write up punya message, okay. After you make a decision through the telephone, then he said, okay, I will email you all the details, okay, regarding what we discussed in the telephone. So biasanya lah kalau in business, okay. So that is the oral communication. And that is the written communication, okay. Written communication ni biasanya we are using based through the letters, PowerPoint, okay, email, and this is all the examples written communication. Okay, so written, writing a letters, okay. This is older style, okay. But still they have a great effect in the business, okay. So you can keep the history of the letters though, right? So and then sometimes the letters, because you need the official punya signature, okay. Signature tu. So sign, you have to sign letters, okay. So this is give more meanings, okay. Sometimes lah, okay. And also that based on the research kan, when you write with hand, okay, the content is more memorable when we type, okay. So now you have computer, when you type the letter and you send the letters based on what you type in the words ke apa ke. So it the receiver tu they appreciate more if you write with your hand, but that is individual lah. Kalau dalam in the business tu handwriting tu tak apa prefer lah, it's not preferable, okay. Another written communication through the PowerPoint, okay. Right, so biasanya PowerPoint ni dia to assist dia punya oral punya communication, okay. So sometimes oral presentation, okay, sometimes PowerPoint also dia boleh stand alone lah, okay. You can pass the information to the PowerPoint, okay. Sorry, email, okay. So email ni baru je zaman you all ni, masa I start my work pun email tu still new. Kalau you ada email tu macam wow, you ada email bombastic kan. So you all kecil-kecil lagi dah ada email dah kan. Right, so email ni is quite important. Dan sekarang ni kalau if students ke ataupun workers ke, kalau tak ada email is something yang pelik lah kalau tak ada email kan. Okay, right. So biasanya email ni in the business they prefer it through the email because it written, okay, maknanya ada history, you can ada proof, and then you can be edited and sent, and it is cheap, okay, lower cost, okay. So the next is instant messaging. I'm not sure ada lagi ke instant messaging ni, okay. But instant messaging ni biasanya using through the computer, okay. Maybe ada jugalah dalam handphone, okay, instant messaging. Okay, so dia punya ada instant tu because dia instant, it's a good thing, okay. But the negative way tu instant messaging ni maknanya bila when you in front the computer, then you can get the instant punya message, okay. But if if you're not in front of the computer, then when the other side tu they pass the information, then you cannot get the immediately, okay. And then some instant messaging maybe for some time only, and dia tak ada history, tak record, okay. Alright, so text messaging, okay, better compared to instant messaging, okay. Tapi yelah, text messaging tu only kalau ada a few punya information that we can use as text messaging, okay. And also you must have a guideline. The text messaging should be used only during the office hour, okay, because now text messaging ni ada a lot of problem lah, because out of office hour pun people keep using the text messaging, okay. Send the text messaging, right? So another written communication sekarang ni in the organization, social media, okay, is the online communication, okay, through the social network, okay, Facebook ke apa, LinkedIn ke, now you ada apa lagi Twitter lah kan, so social media, right? Apps, okay, so apps ni is that in the mobile. Okay, bila kata apps tu is in the mobile, okay. You can access in the mobile, okay. Example of apps, okay, for communication, apps for communication, WhatsApp, okay, Line, WeChat, Kakao, Telegram, okay. So that is the apps in terms of written communication. And a blog, okay, web blog, okay, blog ni website about the companies, okay. Ni siapa contoh ni, apa contoh, okay. A blog tu, okay, so then usually blog ni kita nak inform the organisation ni needs blog tu to pass the message to others, to the potential customer ke about dia punya company, what is their vision kan, okay. So to that blog, okay, and also about pass the message to dia punya potential job applicants, okay, right. So blog, sekarang ni blog ni bukan not dia most kepada one way punya communication, but company want to inform to others. Okay, so dia tak boleh two-way communication. Kalau two-way tu is delay lah, okay, slow. Okay, so ini email lah. Ini untuk email tu. Maknanya email sekarang ni, reading answering email ni about 28%. Okay, dia punya times of the managers punya time spent to read the email. Okay, ni also apa tu, social tadi, social network tu. The diagram tu dia pergi kat last. Okay, so diagram social network tu, dan apa dia kata, using social network to search. Okay, some social networks ni, some organization ni, they use social networks to find the candidates for their job. Okay, right? So now about 11% use the social network to find to do a job, to research for the research candidate. Okay, right? So next is non-verbal communication. The last mode of communication is non-verbal communication. Okay, so non-verbal ni dia macam body movement. Okay, right, so the intonation, when we usually kan bila ada, when we do a oral communication, dia mesti ada dia come together with the non-verbal communication, our body movement. Okay, macam how we emphasize some words kan. Okay, with our facial expression, the distance between the sender and receiver. Okay, right, so that is the non-verbal communication. Okay, right, so the argument kan, ada argument dekat, they said that when you do a communication, okay, so every body movement tu has a meaning, right? And suppose that during that communication tu, no movement is accidental. Okay, maknanya movement you tu ada meaning, bukan sesaja je. You cannot communicate and then you have to plan you punya movement tu, no. Okay, movement tu they come with you punya communication. Okay, oral communication lah. Okay, so example kalau kita when we get something good, okay, the best thing, so we will smile, we will laugh, we will enjoy. Okay, so body kita akan respond to that something, that happiness. Okay, alright, so you cannot feel happy without ada movement yang happy tu, kan, right? So and kalau when you get something yang you don't like, okay, so that the movement is different compared to the things that you get, that some things that happy. Okay, right? And also that they should kalau leaders kan, they nak show the authorities tu, they just stand still. Okay, they stand still to show that they have authority lah. Dia ada, maknanya kalau they stand still, dia ada authority, dia ada power dia. Okay, right? So that is the body movement. Okay, okay, so body language ni dia will show dia punya status, okay, dia punya emotional, we can show based on from the body language. Okay, right? Okay, so dia kata sometimes the studies ni, okay, the study indicates, okay, when there's a communication, okay, people read much more about the non-verbal punya cues. Okay, when we do the oral communication, okay, so it's not only based on the oral punya message tu, but people also go based on the non-verbal tu, based on you punya body language. Okay, but kalau kata your whatever you said, okay, you punya verbal message tu and you punya body language tu kalau ada conflict, okay, means that what you said and you punya body language tu difference, okay, and sometimes the receiver tu dia prefer more based on the non-verbal punya, you punya body language tu. Okay, kalau you said you happy but your body language show you don't happy, so the receiver tu they take more that part, you punya body language you are not happy, you punya facial expression ke, when you say okay I understand, but your face show you that you don't understand, then the receiver tu dia say, oh actually this person is not understand, not based on you punya verbal punya message. Okay, so that's why you kena be synchronized. Kalau you kata you understand, you kena tunjuk muka yang you understand. Okay, right? Kalau you suka, you have to show you punya facial expression tu, kena tunjuk you suka, you punya body language tu. Okay, alright. Okay, so ni kita tengok kalau oral dengan dia punya facial expression ataupun dia punya how you emphasize every word lah. Okay, so the same sentence, okay, when you, this is a oral punya communication, okay, tapi it can give a different punya meanings when you emphasize words at different place, okay. Alright, so kalau kata saya pun tak tahu sangat, I'm not sure ni macam mana sebab I never ask someone to go to dinner, okay. Alright, so when you emphasize you, okay, why don't I take you to dinner, okay, usually that means is I was going to take someone else, okay. Kalau dia emphasize dekat I, why don't I take you to dinner tonight? The same sentence, okay? Okay, so instead of the guy you were going with, okay? Means that I will take you, okay? Not the other guy, okay? Why don't I take you to dinner, okay? I'm trying to find a reason why I shouldn't take you. So when you emphasize at the different place with the same sentence, so it will give a different meanings, okay? Right? Okay, mak you pun kalau marah-marah, kalau panggil nama kan, panggil nama you je, nama je kan. Ain, kan, this lain, the meaning is lain, dah panggil nama je, okay? Right? So the message is different, right? Okay, so also the last one about the modes of communication ni, the physical distance, okay? When we do the communication, when we have a communication, so the distance tu also gives some meanings, okay? Right, so if you put a distance quite far, and then maybe depends to the culture lah, okay. Right, so sometimes some people prefer when they talk they need to be the distance quite kira dekat lah, okay. But sometimes maybe they nak quite far, okay, the distance, okay. So different culture have a different meaning untuk dia punya physical distance, okay. And also that distance pun boleh kita nampak when kita nampak sexual interest. Sexual ni maknanya macam between men and women punya interest lah, okay. When we talk to the other man, the men talk to the woman, okay, is that is quite far, okay. We can the message we can get is that the man is not interested with us, okay. But if we talk with male punya our co-workers kan, kalau male tu kalau dia quite near, okay, we feel some, kita rasa not feeling comfortable lah kalau quite near, okay. So we feel displeasure when he talk to us quite near to us, okay. So that's the distance also gives some meanings juga, okay, physical distance, right? Okay, so the choice communication channel ni I will continue in next class, okay. So but remember next class we don't have we don't have live class, okay. I will record the video and you have to watch the video lah, okay. So nak balik kampung dah pula, tak balik pergi kampung ni. Okay, ada any question? Ni apa Yahoo ni? Yahoo, Hotmail. Ada lagi ke Yahoo, Hotmail? Yahoo ada lagi. Hotmail ada lagi eh? Itulah Hotmail ni. Zaman saya kerja dulu tahu Hotmail. Mula-mula ada Yahoo. Lepas tu Hotmail. Hotmail rasa dah transform kepada Google kot. You apa ada ke masa Hotmail tu? Saya muda-muda je. How old are you? Ada. Oh. Sempat lah you all Hotmail lah. Sekolah ke Hotmail tu? Oh, Hotmail ada lagi.